Just a quick note before we begin. If you find meaning or comfort in these conversations, consider becoming a supporter of the Don't Forget to Breathe podcast. Your support helps keep these stories alive and makes it possible for others to find hope in their own grief journey. For as little as $3 a month, your support goes to offset costs associated with production. You can learn more on the information page for this episode and by clicking on the link, Support the Show. Welcome to Don't Forget to Breathe. I'm Bruce Barker. Whether you've been with us since the very beginning or just recently found this podcast, thank you for choosing to spend part of your day with us. This episode is a little different. Normally, I'm joined by co-host Kristin Glenn, but today it's just me behind the microphone. Kristin wasn't able to join me for this recording. She's on the mend from a recent accident with her horse, and I know we all wish her a speedy recovery and look forward to having her voice back on the podcast soon. So I wanted to take a few minutes to reflect on what has been an incredible Season 4, share a glimpse of what's coming in Season 5, talk a little about July and the National Bereaved Parents Month, and introduce something I've been excited to share for quite a while. So take a breath and let's begin. Season 4 has been more than a collection of podcast episodes. It's been a collection of lives. Stories that many people never imagined they would tell. Stories of sons and daughters whose names deserve to continue to be spoken. Stories filled with laughter, tears, regrets, hope, questions, faith, doubt, and love. When Kristin joined me this season, one of our goals was simple: create connection, create conversation, and create community. And because of you, that's exactly what's happened. We've now reached listeners in over 71 countries and hundreds of cities around the world. That still amazes me, not because of the numbers, but because every episode represents a person, a parent, a sibling, a grandparent, a friend, someone looking for one small reminder that they are not alone. Thank you for allowing us to be part of your journey. When I think back over this season, there are some many conversations that continue to stay with me. Talking with Tammy around Mother's Day was incredibly meaningful. She shared the story of her son with such honesty and tenderness. We talked about what it means to continue being a mother after the death of a child and how love doesn't stop simply because our children are no longer physically with us. I know that conversation resonated with so many moms and dads too. Our two-part conversation with Jamie and her son Cooper gave us an intimate look at a family's grief from a mother's perspective. Jamie shared the heartbreaking story of losing 10-year-old Parker, but she also made sure we came to know the little boy behind the tragedy, his adventurous spirit, his kindness, and the joy he brought to everyone around him. Then, hearing from Cooper offered a perspective we don't often hear, that of a sibling learning to carry both profound loss and enduring love. Together, their stories reminded us that child loss forever changes an entire family, yet each person grieves differently while remaining deeply connected to the one they love. Our conversation with Scott Allen about his daughter Jamie was another one that will stay with me for a very long time. Listening to a father describe not only the devastating loss of his daughter, but also the intentional ways he continues to love every single day. It gave so many fathers permission to feel what they've been hiding. His story reminded us that our relationship with our children doesn't end. It simply changes. We also had the privilege of sitting down with Marissa, whose perspective brought another beautiful reminder that every grief journey is unique. Her willingness to share both the difficult moments and the moments of growth offered hope without pretending that the pain disappears. It was a conversation filled with authenticity, and I know many listeners found pieces of their own story in hers. Our conversation with John DeDakis reminded us that grief doesn't erase who we are. It becomes part of our story. John shared such wisdom about carrying loss while continuing to write new chapters of life, and about finding meaning without ever leaving our children behind. Kristen and I also spent time talking directly with grieving parents through episodes like Who Am I Now?, exploring how child loss changes our identity, and Becoming Someone Different After Child Loss, where we acknowledge that grief doesn't simply change our lives, it changes us. We also devoted 2 episodes to one of the most requested topics we've received. I don't know what to say to a grieving parent. Those conversations weren't just for bereaved parents. They were for friends, family members, coworkers, churches, and anyone who wants to love someone well after an unimaginable loss. One of my favorite things about this season has been hearing from listeners afterwards. Messages saying, I thought I was the only one. Or I finally felt understood. Or I sent this episode to my husband. I shared it with my sister. Those words mean more than you'll ever know. Because at the end of the day, that's why we do this. Not because we have all the answers, because we don't. But because none of us should have to navigate this alone. Before I tell you what's ahead in season 5, I want to give you a preview of one of our first episodes. Every year, July carries a different weight for bereaved parents. It's recognized as National Bereaved Parents Month, but for many of us, it isn't something we celebrate. It's something we survive. This past July was especially meaningful. Kristen represented the Don't Forget to Breathe podcast and the Don't Forget to Breathe Foundation at the Compassionate Friends National Conference in Baltimore, while I had the privilege of attending the Bereaved Parents of the USA National Gathering in Pittsburgh. Between the 2 conferences, we met hundreds of grieving parents, heard countless stories, shared hugs, shared tears, and watched complete strangers become lifelong friends in a matter of minutes. For Kristen, July also marked another anniversary of Zach's death. And for me, July 26 marked 20 years since my daughter Kristen died. Needless to say, it was a heavy month for both of us. One of our first episodes of season 5 will be a very personal conversation about that month. We'll talk about what it's like to walk into rooms filled with grieving parents while carrying our own grief. We'll reflect on children's anniversaries, the emotions that resurface no matter how many years have passed, and why remembrance is both painful and profoundly important. We'll also talk about something we witnessed over and over again at both conferences, and that's hope. Not the kind of hope that tells us everything is okay, but the kind that quietly reminds us we're not walking this road alone. If July is a difficult month for you, or if you've ever wondered whether anyone truly understands what these anniversaries feel like, I hope you'll join us for that conversation as we begin season 5. This season also marked another exciting milestone, the official launch of the Don't Forget to Breathe Foundation. The podcast will always remain at the heart of what we do, but now we're beginning to build something even larger. Retreats, facilitator resources and trainings, support for mothers, support for fathers, support for couples, tools for churches and grief organizations, all to help those who walk beside grieving parents feel more confident in supporting them. This isn't about replacing what's already being done. It's about joining others in the work, because no family should have to navigate child loss alone. Now, let's look ahead. Season 5 is already taking shape. We're planning conversations with more bereaved parents, also authors, grief educators, counselors, faith leaders, and a funeral director, all grieving parents. And we'll talk with people whose lives have been forever changed by loving a child they now carry in their hearts. Some names we're hoping to bring to the microphone include Aaron Bleckman, Anne-Marie Farino, Tim Schramm, and several guests many of you have recommended throughout the year. We're also planning more practical episodes, supporting dads, supporting marriages, helping grandparents, helping siblings, navigating holidays, finding purpose, living with anniversaries, and continuing conversations that most people are afraid to begin, because that's really why this podcast exists, to normalize conversations about death, to normalize conversations about grief, and to normalize speaking our children's names. We've also been working on something special behind the scenes. Over the coming weeks, you'll hear more about new foundation resources, some exciting partnerships, a growing volunteer network, and opportunities for you to become involved in helping grieving families across the country. This is only the beginning. Okay, before we close, I want to share something very personal. Many of you know the phrase, "Don't forget to breathe," didn't begin as a podcast title. It began with my daughter. Those words became an anchor during some of the darkest days of my life. Over time, they become the heartbeat of this podcast. And now they become something else, a song written to honor every parent who continues loving a child they cannot hold. A reminder that even in the hardest moments, even when breathing feels impossible, love continues, hope remains, and you're never walking this road completely alone. I truly hope it speaks to your heart, and you can find the lyrics in the show notes for this episode. So here is the very first public release of the song, "Don't Forget to Breathe."
Don't forget to breathe. I still talk to you in empty rooms, in the silence and the Sunday afternoons. Some days I laugh, some days I break, some days I don't know what my heart can take. Everybody says that time moves on, but they don't know a love this strong. So we carry what we cannot leave and somehow learn to breathe. So don't forget to breathe when the night gets hard to see, when the world keeps moving on and you're still holding on. There's a place for every tear, every memory still here. You are not alone tonight. We'll sit with you a while. Don't forget to breathe. We speak their names around this fire, like keeping love alive is our desire. And maybe grief's just love that stays long after someone slips away. So pull your chair a little near. There's healing in the stories shared right here. No fixing words, no grand relief, just hearts that still believe. So don't forget to breathe when the ache won't let you sleep, when the quiet feels too loud and you can't stand in the crowd. There's a road we didn't choose, still we walk it 2 by 2. You are not alone tonight. heartbreak and the grief. There's a light we cannot see, still shining quietly. And if all you do today is simply make it through the pain, that is more than enough tonight. You're still here and so are we. So don't forget to breathe. Don't forget to breathe. Don't forget to breathe.
Thank you for listening to that song. And thank you for walking through season 4 with us. Thank you for trusting us with your stories, and thank you for allowing us to speak the names of your children. We'll take a very short break as we prepare for season 5, but we'll be back very soon with more conversations, more stories, and more reminders that none of us has to carry this journey alone. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Keep saying their names. Keep telling their stories. And as always, don't forget to breathe. One more thing. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. We are not licensed professionals, just parents who've experienced unimaginable loss. This isn't meant to replace help from a therapist, doctor, or other mental health professional. If you're struggling, please reach out to someone qualified. You are not alone. You can also contact us by going to the show notes and click on Send Us a Text, or you can visit us at our new website, don'tforgettobreathefoundation.org. Feel free to email us at support@don'tforgettobreathefoundation.org. That's support@don'tforgettobreathefoundation.org.